I'm still like baffled by that, dog.
That word took me so fast.
Well, I'm glad you did enjoy your me day.
I did.
With
even though you
with
downplayed.
what little you did.
That's great. What do you want from me?
I want you to want more for yourself.
I gotta start somewhere.
Come on.
Like, bro, when you got a wife and children, like that is major. That is major, man.
Q said, yo, what up, Q?
What up, guy?
No, you cannot. We cannot see you, Jasmine.
Patterson.
No, Miss Patterson, you are not visible on the.
Thank you.
You're not as visible as you were on my story yesterday. Today.
It's crazy. Bro. So concerned with being on camera.
How about it's gone now?
Oh, now you want to take it down.
It's invisible at this point.
This finna get good.
Mm-hmm.
What's the title?
Will you marry me? No.
It's gonna be a no.
It's gonna be a no.
It's definitely gonna be a no. It's gonna have to be a no. It's gonna have to be a no. Why
Yeah.
would I do that?
Who to say hey?
Q.
Thank you.
Q. Jasmine says hello. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello. Welcome back to another edition of our Talk It Out sessions presented by V.E.R.B. We're your hosts, Aaron Tate, Adrian Poe, Jasmine Patterson behind camera saying hello to our future selves. If you caught our other videos, then you know what we like to do is we take a specific topic, particularly one that is controversial, and we like to discuss it. We come up with different talking points to bring up throughout the discussion, but we also like to get involved with you guys as well. So for those of you tuning in, please feel free to comment and ask any questions you think might contribute to the conversation. With that being said, today's lovely topic is, will you marry me? No.
It's gonna have to be a no.
It's got to be a no. And I guess I'll explain how we came to discuss this topic. So, one of our cohort, Jasmine Patterson, she sent me this link, or was it a TikTok or something like that?
I think it was TikTok.
TikTok. And basically, the TikTok was about news surrounding Lori Harvey in her in an update in her dating life. Apparently, she has now moved on to another A-list actor, Damson Idris. If you guys don't know, he is a main character on Snowfall. Snowfall is a very great series. I recommend anybody watch it. Hey, Swanee.
What up, boo?
But yeah, she is now in a new relationship, you know, after being no less than a year removed from her relationship with Michael B. Jordan. Jasmine, you know, being an admirer of Lori, she, you know, brought it to me and was like, I really just admire how she moves as a woman.
That's how Jazz sounded to you?
Yes. I really just admire how she moves as a woman, and she does what she wants to do, and woo do woo, blase blase.
Rah, rah,
So I challenged Jasmine on it, and I'm like, you really think what she's doing is a good idea? She's like, well, yeah, like men do it all the time. She's not doing anything that she does not want to do. Woo do woo.
Right. If it doesn't serve her.
If it doesn't serve her, apparently she moves on.
Yes.
And so she asked me, well, like, how do you feel about it? And me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm all for her doing what she wants to do. But I don't think how she's moving is overall healthy for her as a person. And she basically probed me to figure out why. And that's what we're going to get into today. So the first part of the conversation is going to be talking about the idea of dating. The second part of the conversation is then going to transition into marriage and what we think marriage is and what's the best thing for marriage. We've got a few people that joined. Kareen Corner said, just passing by saying, hi, love you both. God bless. Hey. Love you too. And that was it. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we got started?
No, go ahead. I'm ready for the conversation.
Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm ready for this.
All right. So, first question I have is, what is dating? And by y'all's definition or from your perspective.
Okay, so I think the definition of dating for me is being able to interact with different people, different cultures, personalities, to see if that person, catches your interest. Yes, to see if that's something or someone that you would like to maybe pursue further, and maybe seeing something in a future, or whatever the case may be, a long friendship, a long relationship, but just two people coming together with like minds, getting to know each other, going out on dates, doing different activities, just talking, getting to know each other, the talking stage.
Adrian?
Yeah, I would agree. Dating is exactly what it says. Now, prior to us having a conversation, though, I never really took time to break it down. So I'm with Jazz. I think dating is incremental, or should be segmented per date. I'll leave it there for now.
Basically, piggybacking off of you guys. For me, dating is just partaking in an activity with one or more individuals whom you're not exclusive
Or
to
committed to.
In any capacity. Using those activities as gauging tools or mechanisms to see if you want to continue to partake in more activities.
Say that again. Using those tools.
Using those activities as gauging tools or mechanisms to determine if you want to repeat, hanging out or partaking in other activities to move forward.
Perfect.
So do you, with your definition of dating, do you think that what Lori Harvey is, and just to be clear, we're not targeting Lori in any fashion or
remove the name and only focus on the character.
But I'm using this situation to prove a point. So do you think that what Lori is doing is healthy, or do you like what she's doing, or do you label it as dating?
Yes, I do label what she's doing as dating.
Why do you label it as dating?
Because she is doing what what our definition of dating is. She is meeting people. She is engaging with different people. She's building relationships to see if that's something or someone that she wants to have a future with. I saw an interview recently where she made the statement of if it no longer serves her purpose, then because she's confident in that, she's not afraid to walk away from it. And I like that statement from her, because a lot of women will just kind of put up with the red flags and be like, oh, it'll change if maybe I date him a little longer, or whatever the case may be. But with her, it's like, okay, so I see that this is the path that you're going to take. I'm not ready for that path. So I wish you well and be blessed.
The only issue that I would have with such a celebrity making a statement, if it no longer serves my purpose, I'm gonna leave, is I feel that being on that platform, you should provide a few more details, because a lot of times those type of statements are used in a negative sense to promote an idea that it wasn't projected to promote. And what I mean by that is hearing her say, well, if it doesn't serve my purpose, I'm gone. But let's also not forget that a lot of people's purpose is kind of perverted though. Like, if your purpose is to sift a man financially like wheat, then that's your purpose and that's a productive purpose for you, but is it one overall? So the only problem that I would have is someone with that much notoriety speaking of such actions needs to, or should rather, have a few more words in that statement to guide those who hang on people's every whim, because they use those statements to do things that are not as conducive as the statement was intended. Does that make sense? Because just think about throwing out a statement, oh, if a man don't serve my purpose, I'm gone. Well, we have a lot of women whose purpose gets kind of slighted sometimes, and we have to bump them back in line. Am I tripping? Mm-mm. So just for future references, could you kind of put a little bit more context in that purpose piece for me there, Lori?
Yeah. For me, I don't think she is what we or I would classify as dating. To me, she's hopping from long-term relationship to long-term relationship, and here's why. And I mentioned this to you before. There was a preacher, I can't remember what his name is, but he was being interviewed, and he was being asked about the modern dating time or modern dating, and he basically explained how modern dating is just the practice of divorce. Mm-hmm. Right, we're getting into long-term relationships to then end them prematurely when they no longer serve you. Mm-hmm. Right, so people are getting involved with people, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years at a time, just for those relationships to end before you even gave it a real chance to work out whatever issues you might have had with that person. So I don't think we need to label that as dating. We need to label that as, committed relationships that we ended prematurely because we did not build enough fortitude to work out whatever issues that might have caused the demise of the relationship.
So with that being said, I definitely understand and hear you on that. So what is a time frame for you for them to really know if this is what they want before moving forward? Because like you said, she was with him for like 1 or 2 years. Like, should she have been with him longer to drag it out, or like is there a specific time frame that you're speaking of with that?
I'm saying she should have never committed to him if her goal in mind was never to get married. Mm-hmm. She should have just continued to date, and not just him but other people, right? I think in today's society we keep merging the idea of dating with relationships, which is where when we don't draw that line, we then confuse a 2, 3, 4 year long relationship for, we were just dating. No, you were in a committed, like you were headed towards marriage at some point.
And we really, because you just made a statement that people are gonna be like, what the frick is he saying? Let's really we need to break down the difference between dated, a committed relationship, and marriage. So let's go. Let's do that.
So you asked what's the time frame, right? I think for people that are dating, again, for me, dating is just partaking in an activity with one or more individuals and using that activity to gauge whether or not you want to repeat this at some point in the future. Right?
There's no time frame on dating.
But there's no time frame on dating, nor is there any promise of commitment or exclusivity while in the dating stage.
That's the part they don't like. Say it again. The exclusivity. Do that word again.
There's no promise of commitment nor exclusivity while we're dating.
Ow! One more time. That felt good.
There's no promise of commitment nor exclusivity while dating, while in the dating stages. Now,
hold on. Let them breathe.
Okay.
Woo! That's the one. That's what they not gonna like to hear right there. Go.
Now, how long?
Look at her face. It's like.
No, I'm just saying Southerners aren't good with that.
Oh, good with that word.
Particular concept.
Yeah. It when you said it, I was like perfectly said, but it's like, whoa.
So now, if you want to date with no promise of commitment or exclusivity, that's fine. Do that as long as you want to. There's no real time frame. The only time frame is whenever the two or more people involved decide, okay, at this point, we now want to be exclusive to one another.
Commitment.
It's up to the people.
Commitment brings about time frame. Dating doesn't. Dating is really a freelance choice between two people. But when those two people decide to be committed, we then need to start having conversation to then discuss timeline. But outside of that, there's no timeline.
Yes, no timeline on dating. Q said, inserts big word. Now, when we get into when two people decide, you know what, I really like spending time with you. I think we have a real future that we can work towards. I want to be exclusive. At that point, we are no longer dating. We are in a committed relationship working towards something. So we need to be very careful when we're merging the idea of dating with a committed long-term relationship. The two are not mutually exclusive.
Okay, so now that we have slid out of the talking and dating stage, I've chosen you. I want to date you. I'm committed and exclusive with you, right?
Here's where the rubber meets the road, though, because how many of you all hear guys who cheat or violate the verbal agreement that they had with their partner say, "Oh, we wasn't together"? You know why they say that? Because we never sat down and had a conversation. You decided that since your emotions are attached to me, I now belong to you. That was your decision. But how many boyfriends you ever sat down with and said, "Hey, on this date right here, moving forward, we are committed to one another"? No, you assumed that because your emotional attachment is there, we're just gonna slide right on into this next base, and then mad when you don't win the game. Elbow.
And then I noticed with women, they'll usually, like you said, there's no real conversation being had. So, like, in order for me to let you know that, I'll just start spending more time with you.
Start doing wifely things.
Yes, without having those conversations. So now it's like you said, if he was to cheat or if he was to do some other stuff,
the first thing we say is, "We wasn't together."
Correct. And she's gonna be looking at you like, "Oh, but
how dare you?"
Yeah, because I've been around you. Like, my body and my mind and everything else is specifically for you. But like you said, those conversations are not being had right now. So it's unfortunate. But I agree. As far as once we get out that date, say, "Hey, it's time to talk about it. Let's discuss." So now that we're coming from the dating aspect, I've chosen you. You've chosen me. We're committed. We've had the conversation. Where is the time frame?
Real quick, Q said facts. He also said, "Man, that's the problem. Why as men don't remember first dates or nothing, because we ain't know this was a date.
Y'all thought we were kicking it."
But you want to know what color was my lip gloss?
I don't know.
On the first date. Why don't
Do you know how many of you I saw that week? You wasn't the only one that week. Shoot.
So now you're asking, now that we're exclusive, what's the time frame on
Yes.
getting married?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess because you made the statement that she basically was in this relationship with this man for like, what, 1 to 2 years?
1.5, almost 2 years.
And
like that.
you feel like that's a problem or it's not healthy because she should have stayed to, I guess, make it work. And I was asking you, what is the time frame now that we're in this committed relationship? I see that it's not working for me. What's the time frame from there? Like, should I stick with it or do I need to?
So I'm saying for her specifically, I don't think she should have stayed. I think she needs to stop getting into relationships that she clearly is not ready to try and pursue long term or trying to pursue marriage. She needs to continue dating, which she's well within her rights to, but doesn't need to just be committed. Like, clearly Michael B. Jordan was ready for marriage. So he was ready to take it long term, and she was not. And if she knew that from the beginning, she should not have. Why did you get in a relationship with him? Okay. And he also was responsible for making sure to ask what her intentions were as well. So he would have decided, since clearly that's not your goal, I'm not on that. We need to move on and just do our own thing. So I think people in general need to stop practicing getting in long-term relationships under the guise of we're just dating when really we're
committed.
Yeah, we're committed.
Like, that'd be like children live together, paying bills together. Oh, we still talk. We just talk. Talk, y'all. What you live with? What is going on?
Now, to answer your question about what's the time, once we decide to commit, what's the time frame of getting married? Now, here's my thing. If at any point throughout your committed relationship, you decide to move in with each other, y'all end up having kids together or start raising kids together, you're sharing financial responsibilities with one another, you are planning a future, you are already married. You are already there. I don't want to hear nothing about no time frame when you already skipped the
You
game.
skipped it. Yeah,
Like
you skipped that.
you there.
Don't ask me when we get married.
Don't ask me.
We already married. Don't
So
ask me.
in other words, if we've been together for 10 years and I still ain't put a ring on your finger, oh well,
on you.
we're married.
You did that.
We're
you
already
gave
there.
me the milk and I didn't have to buy the
We're
cow.
already there.
Truth.
Can you be with
That's
somebody?
reality.
Can you be with somebody for 10 years and they don't propose or anything? Y'all don't have a wedding or nothing like that?
So hold on, ask me that one more
Can
time.
you be with somebody for 10 years and they not propose for you and clearly have no plans on proposing to you anytime soon?
I can, because it has happened.
You've been with somebody for 10 years?
Not 10,
But
but
a
it
long
was a
time.
long time. And there was no ring, and there was no marriage, there was no talking of marriage or anything like that. We were just living. Yeah, it was just
having sex,
just living out. Yep.
No.
Doing all the things now.
Don't remember my wife do.
Right, without.
Now, okay, so y'all were doing all that. Did you view them as your partner, or did you view them as a glorified girlfriend or boyfriend? Like,
I mean, that's what they. In my mind. Now look, I have evolved since then, but back then I did just have in my mind that this is just my boyfriend. This is just my girlfriend. This is whoever I'm with. Like,
even though y'all were living together,
There
having
was
sex,
no-
raising children together. Gotcha.
The problem is the world only has two modes, dating and marriage. There's no middle line there, so therefore there's no conversation there. Therefore, there's aggravation there. So, to females, it's not official until he marries me. However, I can give him all the benefits of official in hope that he marries me. But when he don't marry me, I'm now mad because I can't retract the benefits of marriage that he's already gotten from me. And now I'm mad when he moves on and then marries someone else who probably made him wait a little bit or required him to have that conversational transitional stage. And she now got the very things that you wanted, but he done got it from you and her now. That's on you.
And now we in acrimony.
I'm running the Jeep through the camper.
Q said, "Hey, y'all too loud. Ain't trying to hear none of that." He also said, "Jazz, long time problem, 3 months. Sorry, sis. I'm not sure what that means." Tiana, hey Tiana, she said, "Heck no on 10 years." Or heck no on 10 years. I've lived and learned. I feel like it's wasted time, and I feel like we get too comfortable, but it's only our fault for not making it known about the issue.
Ooh.
Sometimes we do make it known, and we just decide to stay in the same toxic
Come
cycle.
through,
So at the end of the day,
Tiana.
it's still our
Drop
own fault for
bars,
living like
T.
this.
Oh no! Drop bars, Tiana.
That's it, girl.
That. Tiana, you the one. You the one.
She the one.
She the one. Somebody, wife her. Y'all, wife her. Get her. DM. Wife her.
What was the last? So at the end of the day, it's still our own fault for living this cycle, or it's known and we just or sometimes we do make it known and we just decide to stay in the same toxic cycle.
That's the one there.
So it's still our own fault for
That's
living
it.
like this.
It's something about accountability. Just be like, ooh, yes, we getting somewhere. I know.
So if you were living with someone for 10 years, y'all, sex, kids, family,
Mortgage,
bills,
light bill, water bill,
how
water
like
bill.
house, business, whatever the case is.
If I
Are
don't
you
know,
any
fine.
are you any less married now than you would be if you were to get a ring and a marriage license and have a wedding?
I mean, should you use the term like married if you're saying less married
Absolutely.
or not?
I'm glad. I knew this was coming up.
Yep.
So I already got the definition. I saw this
You did.
5
Yep.
minutes ago.
You did. I just saw it on your
I saw it. So the definition of marriage is the legal or formal recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship, historically and in some jurisdictions, specifically a union between man and woman. Definition number 2 says a combination or mixture of 2 or more elements.
Am I less married per that definition? It said legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that
Or
would be,
formal.
So okay.
Let's look at formal.
Okay.
So let me while you do. So to help you out, the only less that you are married is the legal portion because you fit every other word in the definition. So to answer the question, yes, you are less married only through legal standards, only through legality. And then there's a spiritual element in there as well. But if you are committed and loyal to that individual, you already got that spiritual aspect in the eyes of God, so to speak, outside of the legal portion. But since we live in a society that has deemed the legal piece a foundational piece, those pieces must combine together due to following the laws of the land. Short answer, legally is the only thing that would separate you or lessen you in that situation.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was gonna answer that correctly because you said less married. I was like, well, it just said legal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I'm going to tackle it from a different angle. So I'm going to say no, you're not less married, but here's why. Right. So clearly there's an order of operation that things are supposed to be done. However, we've developed the habit or the practice in society of skipping steps, right? So the steps should be we date, I then propose and we have a wedding and get married, then come the marital benefits. But when I say if you're already living together, having children, buying houses, starting a business, before you got the ring and the wedding and the certificate and the license, you are then already married, and at that point should not be looking at your husband to be like, well, where's the ring? Where's my wedding? Where's the certificate? You are already practicing the marital benefits that comes with all of the things that you're requesting. So if you wanted that stuff, you should have requested that first before then practicing the marital benefits that come with that. So I have no sympathy for anybody that has been in a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus year relationship and have not solidified your marriage with the ring, the wedding, the certificate, the license, because you've already been practicing within the marital benefits. There is an order of operation.
He right though. He right. It wasn't no sympathy for me, but he right.
Which is why the guy said modern dating has become the practice of divorce.
He's spot on.
Because we're getting into relationships that are emulating the idea of marriage without actually getting all the things that's required, but then deciding when the relationship no longer benefits us, it's time to end it. You are now divorcing that person that you have intertwined your life with. We've been paying bills together. We have children together. Now we have to determine who's going to keep these kids, who's going to pay child support, how much alimony I'm going to have to be. Like, now all of this stuff has to be figured out.
Because we skip steps. Question: if you went to work every day and your boss saw you sitting down every day, but then you got paid all year for, let's make it 2 years, right? If your boss come to you 2 years after you've done absolutely nothing but gain your paycheck and be like, where to work at? What you gonna say?
I don't know where it's at.
Where's the work?
I've just been sitting here for 2 years doing nothing.
Would you feel obligated to get up and start doing something?
No.
Why?
Because you ain't required that of me in the beginning.
Oh, hold on. Say that again.
You did not require me to do anything in the beginning of me getting paid doing nothing.
And you already gave me the benefits of working.
Correct.
So why would I clock in?
So why am I doing it now?
Now do over half the world know why y'all not married yet?
So with that being said, all right.
Hold on. Before you go, Tiana
we
got a
some
couple comments.
questions?
Yeah. We got some comments. Tiana said, accountability. We want better and we scream we want better, but how we feel and what we take is up to us 98% of the time. We control our own feelings and what we go through. Q got a bunch of exclamation points. Tiana also said, if we want marriage, we got to stop letting these men get comfortable. Like you said, some of us practically living like we are married without the huge commitment. Mm-hmm.
So after we're dating and we've made, we probably dated for a couple of months now, maybe 6 months, it's almost to a year. I don't know how long. So when should we discuss marriage? Because I have been seeing a lot in just some of the videos that I've been watching. Like you said, women and men are out here just, doing husbandly and wifely things, and there's no legality to bond that together. So after we've dated and we've committed to each other, when should either or prompt that question? Because again, we have to have conversation. So we're done dating. I like you, you like me. I want to be committed to you. So would that be the time to be like,
No.
Let's talk about marriage? Because you haven't really. No.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
So here.
Please don't.
No. So here are the stages, right? So, that One Piece talk. It's a podcast that I watch. What's up, guys? Glad you can make it. So here are the stages, right? We're dating. We're figuring each other out. Next stage is we then decide to commit to one another. But when we commit, that does not mean we automatically have to start living with one another. That does not mean we have to start having sex with one another. That does not mean we have to start practicing marital benefits with one another until we decide to get married and we actually cross that threshold. Then once we get married, that's when we live together. That's when we start building a family. That's when we start trying to buy a house. That's when we start trying to build generational wealth. That's when we start going into business. Like, that's when all of those benefits start taking place. But again, we think that now that once we're committed, we have to then give this a test drive before we decide if marriage is something that we want to pursue long term. So people are trying to test it's sex.
Yeah.
I gotta know what I'm marrying before I gotta test it out before I decide to lock it down for the rest of my life.
Not cars.
No, that's not how it's supposed to go. And this ain't even a religious thing. This is just makes sense.
It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Like, even if we remove the Bible, it still makes sense. Cause check this. After dating, to the current society, commitment means I'm now freelance to get in your pants. But what you should be committed to is a daily identifying growth and development conversation to gauge if we are going to have the conversation for a commitment of marriage in a legal aspect. What I mean by that is we were dating, we both like each other. We're not committed, but what are we committed to? Each other. On what fronts? Comprehension, problem solving, effective communication, emotional intelligence, active listening, all the skills we always talk about. Once you gauge whether or not someone either currently have those skills or need those skills or even is willing to work on those skills, we are then committed on a daily basis to exploring the growth and development of those skills. And then when we get there, we determine, hey, you got these skills, I got these skills. Let's legally put them together and kill the game. But what happens is we get committed to sex and the butterfly feeling and the emotions and the time period you're supposed to be spending developing that stuff. You done explored every avenue of this man or this woman, and now you left high and dry because when life hits you after that 6 or 7 months, when them feelings go down, you realize we're missing things. And when you realize we're missing things, you've already gave me everything I was going to get over there. I ain't missing nothing. You is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's the problem with the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I have no choice but to agree with you on that one.
I'm sorry for yelling at you. It wasn't a you thing. Yeah. It was them.
Yeah.
All them.
Now, another part of the conversation I wanted to get into is why less and less men are, motivated to get married these days. Why? Like why? Like why? What do we think is the cause for men deciding against legally binding themselves to someone? Being okay with, dating and living together, paying bills, having children and stuff like that, but not wanting to take the step of being legally bound to a woman.
One word, 3 syllables. rhymes with confusion. But the word is delusion.
Yes.
So the men are. Oh no.
You could not have thought. You could not have thought.
Now, Jazz.
Come on, Jazz.
Joking. I was just
Okay,
joking.
okay. Little jokey joke.
Okay.
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 Okay. All right. It's delusion, and this is by no means to attack women. However, just me and Aaron alone have had conversations with countless women, and eventually, they may start out with great ideas or great concepts, but once someone like myself or Aaron gets down in the depths of that woman, not sexually, right?
Yeah, please
Whoa,
do not misconstrue.
sexually. Not sexually.
Let's clean that up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking my wife is watching. Not sexually. But we determine, and even the woman starts to laugh and realize, like, dang, like, I am delusional. I have some very twisted ideas that don't really pan out. And then we conclude that they got those ideas from social media, TV, and, you know, people who are in a whole different realm financially, physically, emotionally, and spiritually than they are. But they assume that they can just get those things for nothing. And the world cultivated that mindset. And in today's society, we have a lot of men doing podcasts or, you know, doing work on themselves, realizing our value. And because we are chronological, logical thinkers, the math is now not adding up because you look, sound, and act just like every other female. So we're now telling y'all the only thing that's going to separate you from everybody else is the skills that we wasn't practicing when I was clapping them cheeks. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you close your legs, even though you assume that's what I want, and open your mind to these skills, you actually may get somewhere because you've gotten nowhere thus far. Because if what you were doing worked, then why is this still a conversation? What we're telling you is the butterfly stage of emotions, up and downs, and ooh, girl, stand on the phone all night, listen to each other breathe, just, you know, coming through, crawling through windows, my little sneaky link. All that's cute, but it's not productive for the end goal that you really want. What is productive is put that in and use that energy to develop skills that's going to give you a long-term result. That's the answer.
But it's another angle to tackle it. Less and less men are motivated. Oh, what LaRonda Nicole said. I agree. Be sober and watch what they really have inside. Mm-hmm. Another angle to tackle it from is marriage and divorce only benefits women. Men get no benefit from neither marriage nor divorce, and this is why. Somebody said, "What's up, Tate?" I don't recognize the.
It's probably on YouTube.
Yes, but I don't recognize the name. Okay. Please say your name for me so I know who you are. Marriage or divorce only benefits women. Low key true. It does not benefit men. Here's why. Majority of divorces are initiated by women, right?
Right.
I'm from that One Piece Talk Big fan. Oh, appreciate you. Glad you can make it. Majority of divorces, the name is Toby. Okay, I remember. Majority of divorces are initiated by women, right? There has seldomly been divorces or split ups, whatever the case is, where the woman did not come out on top, even if the reason for the divorce was her fault, right? A lot of the times when a man and a woman gets divorced, a man is the one stuck having to pay alimony. A man is the one stuck having to pay child support. A man is the one not granted custody over his kids or is only granted 1 or 2 visitations a month. Like, a man is the one left in a deficit whenever he is getting divorced, even if the divorce isn't his fault. Mm-hmm. So a lot of men are recognizing that, and they're saying, you know, well, what incentive do I have to get married when she can decide to leave me at any point and still get rewarded for it, even if it was her fault? Why would I do that? And then this is another thing we discovered that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand when you get married and you get the marriage certificate or a marriage license, that contract basically means that the state now owns rights to your marriage. Meaning, should anything happen between you and you decide to divorce, the state gets to determine the terms of your divorce, meaning the conditions in which you two decide to leave one another. So it don't matter how much a man will stand in front of a judge and say, well, judge, I didn't do this, and this. The woman did all this, and that. And the judge can still be like, well, I don't care nothing about that. The woman is going to get this. You're going to be required to pay this, and this. And that's just what it is.
I know 2 people within the last week. No, one within the last week. Another one happened like a year ago that happened to that I know personally.
Yeah.
Even the woman said, "Hey, judge, we agreed that he don't pay child support." That lady wasn't trying to hear that.
She wasn't trying to hear none
She's
of
still
it.
finna get a lady child support. But ma'am, I said that lady wasn't trying to hear that. That's crazy.
So it's like,
You signed a contract.
It's crazy.
so for men, if we're already living together, I'm already paying all your
getting benefits.
bills.
Why would I?
We have children together. We're doing stuff together. Why do we need to lock it in legally when if you decide that you want to leave me, or if I decide to leave you, so I'm still going to lose out in this divorce? It's not fair, nor is it something that I'm going to willingly put myself into.
So before I say this, I want y'all to understand that I don't condone under no circumstances being together before marriage. However, I have a great understanding of a lot of things, and I understand men really just getting their lick back. Cause
and
they really just
like
lick
you,
back.
I'm not condoning it either, but I'm saying
they getting
I
their lick back.
understand
Yeah.
why they don't want to.
They getting their lick back.
What benefit do we get?
They really getting their lick back for being done like that all these years. Like, oh, bet. So I get all the benefits of marriage and don't got to worry about if I can just, you do something, I do something, I can tell you to go ahead on. I ain't got to worry about the judge telling me, like, that's a lick back.
But the only counter for that is signing a prenup, getting a prenup. A prenuptial agreement allows the two people in a relationship to set the terms of your relationship should you guys decide to divorce.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand what getting a marriage license and a marriage certificate means. They don't understand that they're signing their marital rights away to the state. So a lot of women are, when they hear prenup and when they see prenup, it's like, oh, you don't trust me? You're already setting us up to fail or to leave me with nothing.
She's saying that because she's going to get the benefits anyway.
Exactly.
By default.
But it's like, no, it's not that I'm setting you up to not have anything should anything happen that causes us to split up. But it then relinquishes the power or the right that the state has over our marriage.
I didn't know you went to medicine.
I just learned all of this today.
That's fine though.
Yeah.
I didn't know you went to
Jasmine. So credit to Jasmine.
That's fine.
She did the research and was sending it to me.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
fine.
yo, that's crazy.
It's fine.
Like, this is the reality that we live in.
Yeah.
So
That's
no,
crazy.
men are
I didn't
not,
even know that.
men are not going to be incentivized to get married because of the reason that we don't benefit in marriage or divorce. Now, should more people start considering getting prenuptials? Absolutely. Because basically it allows us to, me come in with something, you come in with something, we build some stuff together, but if we decide that it's not going to work out, we leave with what we came in with and we can split what we built together.
You know why women ain't trying to hit it?
Why? Because
They don't come in. They come in saying, I'm looking for a man to take care of me. Most of them, right? So most women don't come in with nothing. So it's like, I ain't been signed no prenup.
Yeah.
Cause I know that if you leave me, I'm gonna still be able to get some. No.
And it's mainly the women that expect. Steve said he ain't take the bar, did he? It's mainly the women that expect to come in being housewives. They expect to come in and being taken care of and stuff like that. They don't want to end up losing out because they know, well, even though I'm being taken care of now and I don't have anything, if I get a divorce, he's gonna have to write me a check every month.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to pay child, like he's gonna have to do all these things. But women, if you, and I understand. The narrative out there is that, well, men don't care about your money. They don't care if you have. Well, you should care about your money.
You should.
You should.
You definitely should.
Whether he cares about it or not, it ain't got to stop you from caring about it.
And I never even thought about this concept from that perspective. I tell women, don't do it unless you're married, but because I know there's a lot of no good men out there, and I want you to be able to have something. Say anything was to happen. I don't even. That's a whole. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. So I thank you for that.
A lot of people don't consider it, bro.
Thank you. The reason that I tell women keep your legs closed until you're married is because if that man gets you pregnant, you a single mother out here with nothing. Now you got to chase him down to get the child support and all that. No, it's a lot easier if you're married to go ahead and get what's owed to you if you're done wrong. That's why I say wait till you married to open them legs, because everybody's not like us, right? They're not gonna treat you with respect. They're not gonna not randomly put babies in you. Like, most people ain't on stuff like that. So I tell women to make sure you're married to protect you. Now, the prenuptial thing, total mind blower. Didn't even know that was a thing. That makes perfect sense now. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's just all about educating yourselves, man. Like we're really just getting ourselves in situations because we're trying to follow the status quo, but we're not realizing what we're giving up, the rights that we're relinquishing when we sign paperwork. Like we really need to start doing. And again, Jasmine, I really do thank you for doing the research you did today, because that really opened my eyes today.
What made you?
Because you knew we were discussing this topic
today. Yeah, I knew
today.
that we were talking about this today, and I wanted to be prepared as far as just the different terms and the terminology and what the actual, prenup and marriage and all of that meant. Marriage licenses and marriage certificate, the difference between the two. Like I like looking at stuff like that. So like I wanted to just research it today. I wanted to understand it before I got into this conversation. So yeah, I shared that with Aaron today.
I had a very general perspective. I knew a prenup meant like whatever I come in with, whatever I leave with, that's what it is. I didn't know that was basically an offset to the marriage license, like as opposed to the state having it and like it's in your hands, which makes sense now. But that's not how it is cast. But the reason that it's not cast like that is because most females come into a sponsorship rather than a partnership. So of course I'm not going to want to sign a prenup when I'm coming in to be sponsored anyway. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. And
again, there's nothing wrong with prenuptial. There's a negative connotation or a stigma attached to a prenup or a prenuptial agreement, but it's really more beneficial to both parties than not. Like, why haven't we been doing this? Yeah. The government don't want us to know about this because the government wants to be able to control it.
Like you said though, like the negative connotation with it is in each TV show that I've seen growing up, the word prenup is like always super negative or super scary or don't do that, don't get this. Like it was never cast in a positive light. And then on top of that, to be honest with you, I never really looked up the actual definition of prenup. So because I did that research today, and I was like, oh, well, this makes sense. Like it's not a negative thing at all. When I looked it up, it's literally the protection of both parties. Yes. It's just, and I'm not looking at I'm doing this because I don't trust you. I'm not doing this because I know that you're going to cheat on me, or I'm not doing this because I know that we're not going to last. This is just to make sure that if those situations happen, that we are both taken care of. Like I don't like the fact that some men are literally put at a deficit. That they are put at a deficit. That they are put in a bad space or in a bad way, and it's unfortunate, but I feel like prenups can be used positively for both parties, because you're gonna get what you're owed from what you obtained during the marriage and before.
But to me now, prenup screams, what were you doing before we met? Prenup screams, what were you doing before we met? Am I tripping? That's what when I hear it, that's what I thought, right? Am I tripping? What was you doing? What was you doing? What you got? You empty your pockets, I'm gonna empty mine.
Yeah. Steve said prenup stop child support.
It can.
But but the thing is that
it can in that aspect, right?
Well, but again, the idea of the prenup is
things before you accumulated a child during the marriage.
Not just that. The prenup agreement is basically for the parties to determine the conditions in which they come into and also leave if we decide to divorce. So I'm saying the man and the woman can decide, okay, if we have children and we have a house, whatever the case is, we have a prenuptial agreement that states that, okay, if we buy a house and we split up, we can then sell the house and just split the profit from selling the house, right? If we have children, we can already have an agreed upon arrangement for who's gonna take care of the kid at what point during the week and who gets it at the end of the week, or vice versa, holidays, whatever the case is. So prenuptial just allows the people to determine the conditions in which they divorce. It just relinquishes the control away from the state or the government to determine who's going to get custody, who's going to get the house, who's going to have to pay alimony.
Because the state has specific guidelines, such as which parent has or makes the most income, or which parent has the most stable source that determines where the child goes. But if we sign a prenuptial agreement, we can already agree on that, so that the state won't use their guidelines and we're using ours.
Correct.
So short answer, yes, a prenup can determine child support if it is a thing or if it isn't a thing.
But yeah, I mean, it just has to be up to the two parties to be mature enough to be able to come to a reasonable arrangement.
Why did you breathe like that?
That's the key. We got to make sure that at the end of this, we are mature.
But do you now see the importance of not skipping steps?
Yes,
right?
I do. And like I agree with you. Like we need to have those conversations. We need
all of the things that need to be discussed in that prenuptial happens in commitment, not dating, not marriage, definitely not divorce. Should not be having a conversation in divorce. Bro. It's to be had once you are committed. We need to start interpreting commitment as communication. So we're going to do dating, which is frolicking in the wind, basically. Communication, let's change it, right? Marriage. If we see the next stage of dating as communication, then on a daily basis, we're
constantly talking about how we want to move forward, what our plans are, what we're going to do for our future.
Because committed, you think that means don't put none of the dick in you, and I won't put my dick in nothing else. That's what we think commit means. No, it's communication.
That, yeah.
It's communication at best.
Steve, I was just gonna say, Steve said they be doing these good spouses wrong with child support just because they got it.
Yep. I agree with you on that one, Steve. I also want to say, I feel like if we were to set up the timeline like that, dating, communication, then marriage, I feel like men wouldn't be as scared to make that commitment or to ask that question or to propose marriage to a woman that he sees fit, that will take care of his children, or that will be a good wife to him, or that will take care of the home. Again, all of that is to be discussed during the communication aspect of it, so he will feel more comfortable with sliding into the next stage of marriage. It won't be such a scary thing. And then, again, if we introduce prenup in that conversation and both parties are cool with that, get an understanding of it, get lawyers, really educate yourself about it, feel good about what you're about to go into, like go into this new life with this person that you want to be with. Like you said, I really think we do need to start setting it up that way. Like, talk about what it is that you want, and it's okay to talk about things that maybe make you uncomfortable. Yes. It may be, it's okay to talk about things that that might be a little uncomfortable in that moment. You might not want to talk about it, but you want to talk about it before you say I do, especially if you're trying to make that legality in that bond.
And people don't realize prenups will help, like, keep the divorce transition a lot smoother than divorce. Divorces can be drawn out for years.
It's nasty.
But I'm talking legal bills racking up every single year.
And they make money off of you.
They're making money off. You're helping the state. We are.
Yeah, we got to.
Like, bruh, like divorcing, custody battle, like all of that stuff gets drawn out for years, whereas a prenup can make it such a smooth and quick transition. Like, we really need to start seeing the benefits of prenuptial agreements. Bro.
So I want to deal with something you stated, Jazz, about having those conversations may be a little uncomfortable. The thing is, everything that we're saying, I understand and I agree with it, but I can hear the triggers in that type of conversation, right? Because when you're talking about prenup, we now have to list our qualities. We have to list what we have. And God forbid, I say, hey, I got 2 cars, my house already paid for, I make $60,000 a year. What you got? Oh, I just bought a MK purse, some glasses, some lashes.
I got a new lace front. And
you don't want to lay that on the table, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to lay that on the table, because that means this man might be like, I'm sorry. So the thing is, I care about longevity, right? I care about things that make sense. And it doesn't make sense for me to be bringing all of this and you have nothing. I'm looking for a spouse, not a child. But that conversation is going to lead to Oh, I thought you were gonna be a helpmate, not a parasite.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And we don't want to face that reality, right? That means you got to start doing work. You got to start reading and going to seminars or asking questions and swallowing the fact that I don't have and not buying those things to save and then using that information to build. And you don't want to do all that. But we have to, though.
Mm-hmm.
But the right woman is going to make that, or is
I mean,
gonna
yeah.
have that type of
Yeah.
conversation now.
And now, marriage is a beautiful thing if it's done right.
Yeah.
And I thought about something. Woo! You know what's funny? So, whenever the preacher gets done saying the whoop-de-whoop, do you promise to blah, blah, blah? And they be like, I do. You don't even know what you're agreeing to. If you knew what you was agreeing to,
You would not say I do, bro.
you wouldn't say I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, where did divorce came from? Well, things came up. Did you discuss them things before you said I do? Well, no. Well, of course they came up because you didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
Dating, communication / commitment, then marriage. Not dating, a lot of sex, marriage. That's where you mess up at, right there in the middle.
Yeah.
That middle part is destroying the world as a whole.
Ain't nobody finna do it.
No, they ain't.
No.
They're gonna actually take our advice. The
We're
free
not doing that.
to make the world a better place. Why? Why would you do that?
We're not doing that.
Because what they're doing is working.
Mhm.
Fine. That's why we're talking about this. Right?
And then, did you watch the video I sent about the guy was talking about why women initiate divorce?
Really?
No, that one. Play that. Put it to the speaker.
You ever feel uncomfortable? Wait a minute. So 84% of child support providers are men. We're told that it's in the best interest of our children. Well, 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. And 71% of all high school dropouts. 85% of children with behavioral disorders. Children of fatherless homes are 68% more likely to abuse drugs. And 4 times more likely to live in poverty. So it doesn't benefit either parent. And it certainly doesn't benefit the children. So who's it helping? Turns out that the powers that be are under contract with all 50 states to enforce Title 4D of the Social Security Act in exchange for federal incentive funds. In other words, states get paid to make men pay. So they benefit from this issue. Neither parent or child does. Women and men are against each other on this issue, but it should be men and women versus them. Stay hungry, my friends. Never thirsty.
And that just proves why men don't benefit.
That make perfect sense with what I just heard this last 2 or 3 weeks in court. Like now I see why them folk be why them
They be
like,
running you so hard.
Yeah, you finna pay.
We're literally paid
Yeah.
to make men's life a living hell.
Wow. That's crazy.
Prenups, bro. That's the way to go. We need to start talking about it.
That's crazy.
Steve says, so do tax brackets. So tax brackets don't dictate prenups. You really only hear people with money, assets, etc. dealing with that.
Because they're the only people that feel like they got value. Remember, that goes back to the high value should be high earning.
Mm-hmm.
And high earning needs to be called what it is because people with money understand, hey, I got too much to lose. Let me think smarter. But you don't have to have money to think smarter. High earning does not equal high value. Deciding to do a prenup is high value. Am I tripping?
And that's no matter what you have.
Yeah, deciding to do a prenup is high value. It's not high earning.
Yeah.
But most people that has high earnings do prenups because they understand that I need to protect me because they attach value to their money. And since it's a value issue, it's an intelligent issue. But the intelligent thing is to get a prenup. I gotta be tripping. Because that just makes sense now.
Yeah. Ain't nobody talking about this, bro. Who talking about this?
But we in the court.
But we in the call.
All right,
We trying to make people's lives better, but
We'll
we.
leave it. We'll leave it.
All right. It's time for In the Perfect World, man. For anybody that is tuning in for the first time, don't really know what this segment is. In the Perfect World basically allows us to take everything that we discussed, take all of the concepts that we promoted, and determine that if we were to put these concepts into practice, what would a perfect world look like? So, Jasmine, for you, what would a perfect world look like? if we practice all this stuff?
If we practiced this specific topic tonight, more men and women would feel better about embarking on a very serious and loving and committed relationship to be for the long haul. Like they would feel better about making the decisions moving forward with who it is that they're going to be with, especially with having children. We have to be I want women and men to be more careful with that. Like if we were to set up the timeline with dating, communication / commitment, and then getting into marriage, we wouldn't be in the state that we're in right now. And it's unfortunate, but one day at a time, and hopefully this conversation reaches someone to where we're able to start really looking at, especially if you're single and you're dating, start paying attention to the people that you're interacting with. If you see that there's a future with this person, talk about it. Communicate.
Ooh, say that again.
Talk about it.
All right.
Yes. Talk about it. Let's really discuss and see if this is somebody that you can see yourself long term with, so that you won't be having to have these types of conversations and having these ugly divorces, and ripping families apart, traumatizing the children and yourself. Like and benefiting the state, because they only care about the woman and the children. Remember, women and children first. We don't want that concept anymore. So it's in a perfect world, we would have better communication about who it is that we want to be with in the long haul.
I completely agree. In a perfect world, once we identify the dating / commitment and communication, then marriage stage, it would automatically by default cause each party to start doing work if the marriage is something that they really want.
In the perfect world, people would follow the steps in the order in which they were meant to be followed. Simple as that. Yeah. Man. We keep skipping steps, and which is what leads to the divorce, which leads to the turmoil, which leads to the custody battles, which leads to basically what the freak we're living in now. Yeah,
the mental, emotional.
Yeah, I mean, just
it leads to our current reality. What we're doing now
is not working.
To what we are now.
Yeah. So yeah, in a perfect world, we follow the steps in which they were supposed to be followed. We do it right, and whether you end up spending the rest of your life with someone or having to end the relationship, it doesnn't have to end terribly. Yes. Like we can still leave we can still leave whole.
Yeah.
We don't have to leave in pieces. Mm-hmm. That is still possible. Mm-hmm. So that's my man. Great conversation, guys.
That was good. That was good to my soul.
Great conversation.
That was good to my soul. Jazz, I am.
And to think, at first she didn't even want to do the topic.
Like you rip, like you.
Yeah.
You were ripping it today.
Yeah.
You was ripping it today.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't caught our other videos, then make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's just type in Aaron Tate. That's AARONTATE. You should see my handsome face. Click on it. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on post notifications and click that bell so you'll be notified every time we go live. And also make sure you go through and like all the other videos as well. If you're tuning in now on YouTube, please make sure you like the video. But catch us same time, same place next week. But right now we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our future selves. One day we'll look back on this and wonder why we were ever like this in the first place. And on that note, we'll holler at you.